Ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ bájò, ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ bájò, olúwa mi ò dìde ojú
The Ashen Forge. The Ashen Forge.
Hello and welcome to the Ashen Forge. I am Phantom X, joined as always by Diggs and the legendary Neurotoxin. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Been a couple weeks. 2.5 is here. A whole lot of other stuff with it. So Diggs, you have probably not been playing. Correct?
I've not been playing. I need to play, but Lego Fortnite Star Wars is here. So I've been distracted.
Somebody asked me about you this morning, and I said, he's. I actually did say he's probably playing Lego Fortnite. And Neuro, I know you're still Genesis rolling, right? Yeah. Over there with Rive.
Yeah, though I've been playing a lot less recently. I've been switching up, playing a little bit more of this and that and some other games. But it's something that I kind of already knew was going to happen, and now we're starting to really see it hit, is that people are rushing to hit level 25, and because the drop rate was cut, we're starting getting to a situation where maybe, just maybe, artisanry will be able to come save the day in like 2 months. But right now we're going to be coming towards the end of the 4th week of gameplay at the end of this set, I believe. And let's see, is that right, or did they run the first one extra long? Yeah, this I guess would be the 3rd week they run it. They're maybe gonna have all of artisan level I guess apprentice stuff up and running by the end of this week or next, maybe. But that's still not going to do anything for people that are level 25, level 25 plus, and want high quality journeyman stuff, because the best they can do is start gathering lower tier materials that are used in higher tier craft. But other than that, it's a real kind of clunky situation with the rate of artistry development compared to people getting to level 25 in, less than an IRL week, through various, going hard and heavy methods.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. Yeah, it's been a mess. So yes, the leveling time has been pretty well perfected at this point. People that grind know where to grind. Now we can get into some of the cheating that's happened too, but independent of that, they also, yes, made adjustments to drop rates. So item drops were grossly decreased. It used to be you'd get your
significantly decreased,
drastically, which is
drastically is a good word. I'll go with that one.
Long term makes sense. Now historically, crafted gear was always better anyways, but you could still go out and get pretty decent gear just from grinding and doing dungeons, and that pretty much went away for the most part. Well, not went away, but it got reduced. But at the same time, also crafting components needed increased. So now you had to, I think I was seeing stuff like to make a sword or something was like 250 things of ore or something. I mean, it was like just crazy amounts.
Yeah, the amount that things reduced as you go through the higher levels of processing in the final craft, or how much material gets whittled away, was getting to be ridiculous. And they've adjusted it a bit, but it's still kind of ridiculous. Like, you don't need 20 trees worth of wood to make one bow. Seriously, you don't. You don't need now closer to 60 trees. I think it's like 60 weeping to make a bow, or maybe I'm thinking it's maybe I'm getting it wrong and it's actually 120, depending on if it's 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 or what for the each level of processing required, instead of being 1 to 1 like it used to be. So you're going through materials, and that's the part I also don't understand. Okay, you go from cutting down a whole ass tree to getting 5 units of wood. And then from those 5 units of wood, you can cut those down into 5 units of timber. Okay. And then from those 5 units of timber, let's take one unit of timber, one fifth of a tree's worth of wood. All right. So instead of taking that and making multiple pieces of wood out of it, it's the opposite. You need to take multiple pieces of timber to make one piece of wood. And then when you refine that further, it's going to require another piece refined to the same level, as if one of them is just the test piece that you try out and then throw away. Except that wouldn't make sense, because then you just have it as part of the fuel and materials to run at once or whatever, and then you just run all the rest of them in the same method. So it starts to get to the point where some of the materials required to get some of these things made is starting to get kind of ridiculous. But the fact that it's so slow for everything to develop, like they forgot how long it takes to build up to any semblance of the journeyman economy. And unlike previous phases, previous iterations, you can't just enchant the shit out of level 10 range gear and have it be more powerful than level 20 gear. Level 20 gear is decidedly more powerful now with the way that they redid the attributes late in phase 2.0. So now you have to actually get up to the journeyman level of artisanry to make the items people actually need to be more powerful and more competitive. And apparently what it's leading to is a lot less gameplay, a lot of people not playing as much. Everybody together on one server, and they broke that record, but now it feels like people kind of stick to themselves. They don't PvP nearly as much. They don't, if everybody was putting in as much effort in this phase as they were at the beginning of phase 2.0, and collectively trying to build up all of the nodes with that level of effort, everything would be much further along. Timers be damned, but we're not really seeing that level of effort, and I think people are really upset about the changes to the gathering and stuff overall. Like, they still feel like they're not able to find any of the resources they need, and everything's still stripped barren, and they just put in an adjustment. But despite the adjustment they just put in, people are telling me, no, man, no, the static nodes are still there. Sometimes it'll just alternate out with some other material once or twice, but then it'll come back with the thing that's, rare again. And that things being more or less dynamic is also dependent on whether you're in the Riverlands versus desert or tropics, which apparently are still a little more static. So it's got a lot of trouble right now. Like, it has a lot of features, but how much they've stripped out of the economy. Oh yeah, how much they've stripped out of the economy is the other thing. They want to make everything crafter centric, even though they increase the effort required to craft everything. But then the other thing they did materials you would buy off vendor now. What can you buy from him? A novice crowbar. That's it. You want a crate? Find somebody who can make crates at the level that you're looking for. Whoops. Hey, you just found a you just
Uh-oh. Are you there, Diggs?
I am.
go
There was some freezing going on in the camera.
Might
But
be
it
a
seems to be
Discord
live
thing.
now. Yeah.
Am I back?
You
Am I
are. I
back?
don't know if it's you or Discord.
Okay.
Because Diggs
Where did
also
I cut off?
periodically
What was
looks
the last thing
frozen,
you
but I
heard?
think that's because
Yeah.
he's just like intense.
No. The camera's freezing sometimes for some reason.
What was the last thing you heard?
I think we heard everything, just the camera
Yeah.
froze.
Okay.
So it's a weird time. Yeah, because you have drop rates reduced, you have crafting increased, you have nodes that just take time to level. I feel like they've not matched up the time. All these, it's interesting the role of time in all of this and how much they have to adjust for simply just time frames. How long is it going to take a node to get to 3, and how long is it going to take to get a lumber yard going, and all of these different things, and how does that match up with harvesting and being able to harvest tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3, and they have not got that set just yet. The other thing that I've heard too is you mentioned the new harvesting. They also implemented clusters, and so the feedback that I've heard from people from that is that by introducing clusters of harvestables, they've actually reduced other single spawns. So I guess it at least has the feel that you don't see copper anywhere, you don't see zinc anywhere, because they're all in these clusters that appear here and there. So it also, I all of today we basically just harvested. That's kind of all we did. Trying to, now they did increase experience gain that way, which is nice. So experience gain through harvesting, through crafting, that has been increased as a more viable way of leveling. But we never saw ever. I didn't see any copper, any zinc, any rubies at all today. The other thing that's changed too, that compounds this problem, is that at the end of phase 2, a lot of the streaming that I did was just treasure map hunting, which was actually kind of fun and was a viable way to get materials, like decent materials. But now they've also those treasure map rates, the drop rates have reduced. And 2, you now have to get this monocle thing to be able to make the faded treasure map into a usable treasure map. And I found yesterday I was grinding the goblins, and we got, I think, like 2 common faded treasure maps and an uncommon faded treasure map. I got 3 monocles. They were all rare, and that was it. So like there was a complete mismatch of trying to be able to, I'm not going to use a rare monocle when it's that hard to find them on a common treasure. I don't know why they implemented that component. Is it treasure maps were fun, man. Like that was like the most fun I was having at phase 2, to the point where I hope they develop it more and they turn it into something that you can get experience gain for and actually let you be a treasure hunter. But they've made it more complicated and it's not fun. So I don't know.
I will say, first of all, you can potentially get more experience gained by doing them because they give those nice XP gain scrolls. So not for the act, but what you can do with the materials gained from the act. They did add those lenses late in 2.0. I don't like them. I think it's an extra step that isn't necessary. They need to pay more for Glinter Gold for the increased effort and costs of materials. But, it's still fun to run treasure. And at this point, you can just go on Codex and you can just get the locations of all the treasure map spots. So you can just home in on it that way.
But,
Explain this to me though. So
Okay.
it's taking, is it taking longer to get to 25, or you get to 25 and then there's nothing to do?
Oh, you get to 25. nobody's geared out because the drop rate is ass, and the economy is like a month or two behind being able to provide full journeyman to everybody. Like, it'll, at the rate things are going, it might be cutting it close how quick you actually end up seeing journeyman up and running versus how soon the August date rolls around. Like, we'll see how fast they do it. But if they can't get it up and running, every journeyman they can't get up and running means one less source of high quality gear for players, short of boss drops.
So the problem is that the artisan leveling does not match the archetype leveling.
Exactly. It's kind of been a constant issue. The rate people can increase their skill and the rate people can increase their character level are much faster than the political, time-gated, effort-gated sort of systems that the city building aspect has, the node building and development. Now, one of the things that would really, really, really help to ameliorate the issue is if we had freeholds up and running in a proper manner, so they're not just glorified storage points and farm locations, but you could actually build journeyman stations. And I don't know, tax or limit or otherwise, who has access to them. So your buddies and trusted people maybe charge a fee, but that's one of the things that's really lacking right now, because you can build like some of the prerequisites for more than one type of journeyman in even a village level node, and then be able to have the journeymans built up on the freeholds potentially. But that's a level of coordination we can't do right now because the freeholds are still, a ways out from that level of functionality, unfortunately. That's something they really need to get in before August. So, let's see them get it.
But it sounds to me like the artisan leveling is probably closer to the time factor that they want, and that archetype leveling is sped up because they don't really have enough content. So that's because you're saying that people are hitting 25 in a week?
They're in 25
People
in 2
can hit
days.
25 in 2 days if they're, pooping in a bucket next to their computer and they're just
okay. And it's supposed to take how long? Like at least a month to hit 25?
Not exactly half of 500 hours, but some portion of 500 hours. I would imagine maybe, yeah. I guess 50 hours would make sense. Not 2 days,
hours?
no. 50, yeah. Level 25 is supposed to be 100 hours, and level 50 is supposed to be 225. Is that right? Okay.
People get there in 5 days, and they'll still get there in less
Yeah.
than a week.
Okay.
I don't know how you fix that. I don't know. Because at the
Well,
same time,
one way to do it is a way that people hate, which is that you gate the rate people can level based on the number of days the server has been open. I know people hate that.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's one way to make it that you at least can't be level 50 until day 50 of the server being up.
I want nodes to also take time to grow. Like I don't want Because what we did see was some of the response to this was they made drops a little bit more common. Like they kind of started to go backwards a little bit. Now they were saying this is only temporary, but I mean,
Oh, then the other one that was temporary is that like we realize that everybody's getting their genitals kicked in by these monsters.
oh yeah, that was
because you've got shit gear because we lowered the drop rate and artisanry is miles and kilometers on top of that away from being ready. So we're going to lower the difficulty. And for me, I'm screaming from the rooftops, no, don't do it. Make everybody do artisan stuff and build up the damn towns.
Yeah. That's true. I forgot about that part. They made things much harder to kill, which did not time. Again, it's interesting how complex a lot of this is, but how much it's intertwined as well.
And well, when you make everything 1.0 by accident, yeah, that'll definitely change some shit.
And how and how important it is that all of them actually line up from a time frame. Like that seems very hard to balance. You know, you have the group that rushes out. How long is it going to be till we get like a metropolis? I mean, that's how many days and weeks? It's a while.
Well, it'll be a whole lot faster when you can actually do it. Right years. Now, we're still stuck with villages. I guess. Until we can even build up beyond village, we're still pretty well economically stuck with what we can do at a given time.
Yeah, 12 years until we see the first metropolis. I don't know, maybe you're right. I don't know. It's just interesting how timing is. It's become very clear. Like when these things don't match correctly, it's nobody's happy. Like nobody is. Your crafters aren't happy. Your PvPers aren't happy because they're still pissed off anyways because corruption's still overtuned. So it's been an interesting time in Ashes 2.5. Then you throw on top of that all of the RMT, all of the hacking, the speed hacks, the flying. The economy's still a mess with dupes. I guess.
So wait, tell me about the flying.
So, gosh, how much can I talk about? So, from my understanding, we'll take this approach. My understanding is that it was possible or is possible. Well, I don't know if this is exactly true. What I've been told is it's possible for to turn on GM commands, essentially, like like when Steven would fly around. Fast.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, and so. But there's a lot of other different ways. But flying speed hacks were the big one, and there were videos of this like occurring everywhere. People were the beauty of the Rogue is that you can hide, and people don't know you're there, and you can film them doing shady shit. And they were speed hacking caravans. I mean, just amazingly like blew up for this phase. I don't understand. I guess they said there was some beta program that went into subscription. I don't know if that's true or not. It is very clearly there's been like an explosion of hacks and RMT. But you throw that on top of everything, and it's just it's been a lot, I think, of people complaining for at times I think valid reasons. We had a guy Saturday morning when I was playing. We were just grinding goblins like I've done many times, and all of a sudden coming down the river, it was a caravan raft, like coming down the river kind of fast, and they went over the waterfall, which is a huge drop, landed at the bottom, kept going, and disappeared. Like I don't know if that's intended, like if that's supposed to happen. They didn't die.
I think you're allowed to do that.
But now they implemented some. They said they've implemented some measures. I don't know why people speed hack. Like that's the easiest thing to catch. I mean, you go back through your server data. I mean, layer X was over here at time point Y, and all of a sudden at time point Z, they're like 5 miles down the road. Like it's so easy to track the speed hacking. I don't know why people do that. because they
I could
used
understand if you have the coordinate set just to go from point A to point B and like, go off in the woods in some remote place to some other off in the woods remote place and just have your own little teleport or something because in a fast travel sort of game. So I could see that perhaps, but you're right. Speed hacking is super obvious.
it's so easy because the other
It
problem,
is.
easy anti-cheat is what they use, and I think that's what Epic's anti-cheat. And there's all sorts of, if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, and there's all sorts of guides and other ways to learn how to create your own kernel drivers and how to sort of go around easy anti-cheat. It's always like it's always an arms race. There's always people trying to one up each other, but so that's always been there. Like that's using EAC is not new. That's why I'm kind of like confused. Like why all of a sudden 2.5 hits and there's just all sorts of hacking that wasn't there before because it was possible before. I mean, they just implemented these changes Thursday, so like they've not been there before to catch people. That's where I'm so curious about all this. It's kind of wild how that's happened. But yeah, and the REM team, there's all sorts of items. I think some of the items, because item drops got so low, like some of them, like Bluebell gear was going for like $200 an item or something. Just like insane stuff that for an alpha, if Ashes ends up releasing any version of like successful, this is going to be such a clusterfuck. I don't know, man. It's crazy. So, anyways, but that all happened. That has all happened at the same time. So it's just led to some, I don't know, some interesting, not as fun. I think some people are basically giving up on 2.5 and waiting for 3 to come here. So, I mean, you're going to get wiped anyways, which is the other thing. Why are you spending $200 on armor that's going to get wiped in August?
Okay.
Well, supposedly.
I mean, it could just be that they're listing the items, but nobody's actually buying them.
Did we get a new dungeon video recently?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We aren't getting a new dungeon till August.
Something popped up. Maybe it was.
There was discussion of a new dungeon in the desert, right? Is that right, Neuro? But that's actually not what's coming in August now. Like
I don't believe it is.
Yeah, they're doing something else.
It was the I think something in June Dark was the most recent that they're either adding or have added.
No, I just thought I saw a new video pop up and people were talking about it. But okay.
The thing I haven't checked into yet, now that people can use the bay, it seems like, to go through the area south of the starting cities. I wonder if they're planning to open up a dungeon underneath there and open the gates there or not, or if that area is just going to remain cut off and they don't know what they're going to do with it, because it seems like having an area that's there and just gated off and has resources in it is just there to tease people. But I haven't tried sailing around in that area yet. Haven't really had a specific need to, nor 25 gold to just throw away on a caravel.
I've still not had a boat. I don't have enough money for a boat.
I had one in phase 2. It was fun, just for a moment.
So I also tried. So the approach that I've been taking for the last 2 weeks, so we've had four streams, but has been sort of a new player approach. What's it like? New character, as they've also introduced a couple of more quests. There's an armor quest. There's also, what is it? The tokens, the surplus tokens that you can do a quest chain for, and turn those into armor.
What archetype are you playing?
Oh, cleric. Yeah.
You all don't always play a cleric.
That's all I've done in Ashes. I
I don't think so. I've played with you when you played a
played a
bard or a rogue.
and I might have played a rogue a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
But yeah, weapons too. But the I have to say, and the new, well, I'll just say it, the new player experience still sucks. Now it's not what they're focused on. I get it, but not having not played because I took about 8 weeks, 9 weeks off, I think, something like that. My daughter had soccer, which was on the weekend, so I just took some time off. So I was kind of out of the loop a little bit, but it does not direct you in any certain way. I finally did get the surplus token quest. It was listed as level 5 quest, and I was level 5 when I got it. And it took me to an area with level 10 through 12 mobs that were like 1 stars. I was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Wait. Did you do the Lionhold one where you go to the bandit captain and then? Oh, no.
That's where it directed me, man. I'm just saying that's the new player
No, the
experience.
one from Samia's Hope is great. You talk to
it didn't spawn me in Samia's Hope. It spawned me in Lionhold. So
no, it spawns you at both. You go left or right, and that's which direction you end up at. When you come out of the gate, if you take a left, you end up at Samia's.
My bigger point is like
that one's a much easier quest. I'll tell you that.
No guidance on what the hell was happening, and so we spent the weekend, got to level 6 through questing, and but yeah,
you said we, so who was with you?
I keep saying we. It's just the people that I hang out with watching.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Sticky, who actually is watching right now, usually with me in the morning.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that experience was just. I get it. Ashes doesn't want to handhold, and I get that. I understand that, but Ashes is so complex that I think you have to handhold for like the first 5 to 10 levels. Like you need to direct people somewhere. But yeah, I also didn't. I think I found out afterwards from Ricky Bobby that it locks you out, right? So because I started the Lionhold, like I couldn't do the Samia's Hope.
Yeah, that one's much easier. Eshrumat Kayara gives you the start to that one, and it's not only easier, but I like the narrative a lot. Like it's a very, very good story on that side of things. So
if only we knew somebody who does narrative, but
who's that? Are they here?
I think we know someone. Or I thought we did.
Yeah, when are we gonna get narrative? When is that gonna start picking?
Yeah, modules, I guess. I'm not so sure about modules, but whatever. So
yeah, the new player experience needs work before phase 3.
The one thing that I really like, to the point where I would even consider creating a new character who is exclusively a gathering pacifist, is the amount of XP you get from gathering now. They cranked it up. You get more than 37, a lot more. The amount and the rarity of the materials, plus your XP multipliers, it's juicy. Somebody got 11k off of 5 legendary obsidian. Adventuring XP can be gained from gathering. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I so there's a curve to that. I probably shouldn't.
What's the curve?
Well, I don't know that I can. Actually, I did share it on stream today. The modifier. There's an EXP modifier based on your level and whether you're doing journeyman, artisan, or novice artisan skills. And so actually, I'm trying to remember so if you're doing journeyman and above, it's the same bonus. It's like 1.4x EXP, regardless of your level. But if you're harvesting, say like the novice stuff, the early stuff, as you get, I think it's past level like 20, your EXP actually gain drops. So it drops down to like 0.6 or 0.5 as a modifier. So it's, I guess, rewarding earlier harvesting than later. and probably also promoting people to not, like, if you're 25, to not take all the low level stuff. I guess you wouldn't care because
Mhm.
you're 25. You're not really trying to get EXP anyways. But
Well,
No,
but when
you're
you
level
go from 20 to
25.
25.
When you're level 25, you take only the low level stuff that you want. It's like, I'll take that flax. Ooh, copper, I'll take that copper. Hey, I see you over there taking that copper. I'm going to put you to sleep and take your copper. What? You think you're going to take me on your level 5? Ooh, don't flag up. that's what level 25 gameplay is. You take what you want and bully people off nodes that they got to first.
yeah, there's a curve to it. I don't know. I didn't notice. I mean, I think I was getting 92 experience or something per harvest. I mean, it did vary based off rarity, but um, saying we, Jesus. Now that it's been pointed out that I'm saying we, I'm now anyways, grinding yesterday from 6 to 8.8 was simple. Today we didn't even get halfway through 9. I don't think, doing harvesting, just harvesting and crafting. So it is better, but it's still by far not the way to go if you're just trying to get experience. At least it helps
once you
if
start
you're
getting
trying
to the apprentice level, the apprentice stuff plus if any of your tools or clothing that you had somebody make because you can't buy clothes anymore, if any of that stuff is XP bonus based, I think it actually gives you the adventuring XP as well. So that's kind of cool.
It's good that they did that. I mean, that does reward your people that primarily just want to do artisan stuff. I think that's good for them. But if your goal is actually character leveling, it's just go do something else. Same
Or
with
you just gather because you might not get as much per gather, but the rate that you can gather daffodils and granite and other things and get little bonuses off of higher rarities that you get, it'll, you potentially be able to keep pace with somebody that's running around trying to pick at things and then heal afterwards.
Interestingly, though, what I ran into today as a problem was that I was level 9, which meant I could not sell anything on the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So I was running out of space, like trying to harvest and get to level 10. I was running out of space to put stuff. And because where I was at, like, it's not like we have journeyman artisan stations, like where you could just queue stuff up. Like you could only do one set at a time. So like at that point, it's just, I guess, sell your common stuff to the vendor for cheap. And that way you at least have space.
Or sell things on the market. People are still trying to get their artisan levels.
No, that's what I'm saying. At level 9, I can't sell in the marketplace.
Right. Well, that's true.
You can't tell your 10.
I did the opposite sort of approach, which is, I'm gonna keep my own personal stash for things when I really want something specific made, or if I know there's like tools coming up and I want to be able to make a good one. But anything like common, uncommon, rare, not only do I give that away, but I very specifically make sure to dump it on all of the guild crafting leads. And so if they don't need it, they can pass it along to the other people. But I just, whenever the little Thursday swap meet thing comes around, I'll just be like, take my stuff, take my stuff, take my stuff, take my stuff. Just like empty my bank every week. It's like, here, more materials than here's all sorts of good stuff and a bunch of whatever stuff too. People have uses for it. There's plenty of things for all sorts of different grinding purposes.
In my experience, I don't know. I got anything to add. I'm trying to think. Oh, Envious didn't break up. They rebranded, I think is what they called it.
Oh.
What is it? Gilded Gaming or something? GG. But the leadership folks are still there. So I don't know what the hell that means by rebrand. Apparently, what happened, I guess part of what drove this was they lost every single mayoral election.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They didn't get any. And I saw
Yeah, they spread their resources too thin.
I saw a post. I assume it's real. I don't know, but it was DA like almost begging in chat, like, just let us just have one. Like we'll behave. We'll be nice. And it wasn't long after that they rebranded.
They rebranded.
Well, I mean, after he had missed those 5 elections, there were still more towns to be taken. All of their collective effort, if they consolidated, they could still get a town. If they left all of their places, then they still could have. There were still places available, I believe, that they could have got.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing, which was I think just today, what's it? FEPSI. What's FEPSI stand for? So you got the Fed, you got Polar, you got was Envious part of that?
Yeah.
Who else? Anyways, I think it was Fed pulled out of FEPSI today. So like that's also starting to
I don't
fall
know.
apart.
I didn't even know what a FEPSI was. I knew it as Fed, Envious, Polar, and Cats with Abs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they are also Fed pulled out. So I don't know. It's the drama's kind of cool, kind of real.
I'm glad that it broke up, because I'm glad that it's breaking up, and it needs to, because what's the point of having all of the PvP guilds in an alliance together and then sitting around saying, man, there's nobody to fight? Yeah, there are. You're fucking allies, dumbass. Fight them. Stop being. You can be friends. Allies. You gotta have somebody else to kick over. You can be, polite about it. You don't have to be enemies about it, but you can be enemies.
Also, the rumor.
If you role play, I guess.
Or you just don't like shit talk each other, and instead like, GG each other and stuff, and like bare minimum shit,
Oh, it's the trash talking that's the problem.
Well, disrespect and being sweaty hardcore PvPers are pretty well synonymous in this game. It sometimes seems.
Yeah, but the other rumor.
Well, yeah,
quick.
no, I'm reading your thing. Sorry, I'm reading your chat. Don't know how to be polite. Yeah, that's why I don't like PvP, and I don't like playing on PvP servers.
The other rumor, real quick too, was that several people, possibly some of Envious, actually had their characters reset 3 times already in 2.5 for exploiting. Like you're 3 times, you've been leveled back down to 1. Like Jesus, like you just have not learned. Like, and then I think because
they're gonna play the game and win the prize. You know which game I'm talking about.
Well, so they announced today. Was it 28 bans? I think today. Between RMTers, the speed hackers, I think they said there's like 28, and there's more coming. But they're not announcing who it is. They say they don't want to witch hunt or whatever. I mean, at that point, it's such a bad example because that's not witch hunting. Like you've actually found the person that really did something. But but it's so dumb. Like that's witch hunting means they didn't do something and you're trying to pin it on them. Like you actually caught them doing something. That's why you banned them.
Yeah, and then you barely even have to catch them. They just come out and say, "Hey, we're doing it. Come do it with us."
28 bans later is excellent, by the way, Neural. But
thank you.
But I think they don't want to announce who it is because then you get to see who doesn't get banned. And I don't think they want people talking about the passes that get handed out to some folks.
Yeah.
I think that's why. They say something about the legalities or something. You know, there's maybe I don't know, like they sort of act as though it's maybe illegal potentially to, or they could be sued or something.
Yeah, it could suit.
But
Yeah.
I think the Korean companies do it all the time, right? Like they announce the account names all the time who get banned. So I don't know. I don't know where the truth is. I just personally think it's because they don't want people to see who they don't ban.
Ha ha ha. I can see
I'm
that.
very much a fan of Wall of Shame or the Museum of Cheaters prison sort of things, where they're just like, you know, cages and cells and stuff that cheaters accounts log into every time.
I think somebody did comment in the Discord to Steven something about put him in like jail, put him in jail, and Steven's response was scope creep. So that was I don't think that's going to happen.
No, and honestly, you don't want them to still have connectivity to the server. You just want to get rid of them if you're going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's true, literally. I mean, they do have their social security and everything assigned. So I don't know. What's everyone think about what if you had to have a driver's license or some form of identification?
Real
Yeah.
ID.
There is, I don't think any MMO or really any game out there that isn't poker at a casino that people would actually play, especially from their computers at their home or on the road or whatever, that requires their ID. Because in America, it's my freedom. Fuck you. What are you asking for? Why do you want my ID? You damn commie. Yada, yada, yada. You know, like, you know the rhetoric. And so there are other places where it flies because they've already passed the laws for it. The people are maybe more compliant, maybe more okay with these sort of restrictive measures. Maybe they feel more protected by them. I don't know. There was, I think, in like France or somewhere in Europe or something recently, a law that they were going to be looking at people's images to make sure that nobody was like transmitting illegal you know, nasty things with minors. And the overwhelming response was, stay the fuck out of my devices. So, you know, it's going to depend on the culture.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. The only way you fix bad behavior
I wouldn't,
is making people behind it public. That's the only way.
I wouldn't necessarily mind something like that. It just better be a damn good game. Like this would be something that has like live paid GMs that our subscriptions are going to pay and shit like that. And I don't mean GMs as like support staff who can fix a problem. I mean like actual like quest leading people, like your magical Gandalf buddy who pops up every now and then, helps you with the fight, and then like gives you your next big quest or something. You know, that
Like Steven.
like he would want to do. Yeah, like the revival gold servers we're gonna do, honestly. That was one of the things, like I was so big on that idea that there's a free version that everybody can play on and enjoy, but the paid subscription version actually has storytellers on it. Like, that's dope.
You know, Lulu, that's a good question for a lawyer. Just saying, I wonder exactly. You're talking about would Intrepid have any liability if they publicly posted someone's name and something happened to that person outside of the game? That's a fair question. I don't know. America is so litigious that maybe, I'm sure somebody would at least try to sue. Whether it actually gets anywhere or gets settled outside of court, who knows? I'll sue you unless you give me a level 50 character full of gear. You know, I could see that happening here, but I don't know. You don't have to do like actual names. I mean, I think if you just like post the account, like the character, everybody knows the character. Well, that's been the other thing. The other problem this 2.5 is that every well-known Ashes of Creation player, content creator, their names have all been stolen. Like I think it's hilarious. Like there is a character, Nice Gaming, who is the GM of a actual Pirate 69. So it's not Nice Gaming, and it's actually not Thor's guild, but they created the character with his name and created a guild. That was Thor's guild. Like, so yeah, maybe always using the character name is not necessarily going to work, but nobody took my name because I'm not that popular, which is fine with me. Yeah, Rives was stolen. Jamie's was stolen.
Rives is always stolen.
Yeah,
3 times.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. I feel like that at some point there's probably got to be something, at least for your sort of top content creators, like, you know, if you have Asmon or Peon trying to play and you know.
If I understood correctly, one of the streams Steven had said, you can reserve one character name on one server if you are like a backer with the name reservation level.
Hope so. That became a big deal. So, because people were also like I think they were like doing and saying some nasty stuff too. Like,
probably
as not me. But yeah, the Nice Gaming one was hilarious.
So this was kind of alluded to in chat, I think maybe, but I don't know if you guys heard that in the last update, Fortnite added on the Fortnite side, not Lego Fortnite, but on the Fortnite Battle Royale, they added Darth Vader that you can chat with, and it'll respond via AI. And somebody was playing and was like, holy freaking fuck, what's happening? And Darth Vader said, freaking fuck, what language? They had to do an update to modify the language capability. But
nice.
Yeah, they're trying to do some stuff. So we might actually get some NPCs that we can chat with in the future if Intrepid takes a few more years to release. They might be able to add stuff like that in. We'll have to.
They got to do something about their AI voices now because they're terrible. I appreciate the effort. They're horrible to listen to. Hilarious.
They're still better than the first round. I have that as one of the sounds on my channel. Lionhold has his rub.
I would rather read the text than listen. Give it to me in the form of a book, and I will be happier. The servers have also been an issue. So this, God, now that I'm like putting all this into just one conversation, it's sort of dawning on me like how not great 2.5 has been. Because their servers.
No, it's been rough. It's been rough.
Servers have also been an issue. Like 2 Saturdays ago, first jumped in, first get go, level 1. There's it's a Lion Guard. Murphy was the name, and it's somebody that's over by you come down Lion's Hold, and there's the goblins up the backside, and that there's supposed to be one Lion Hold guard Murphy and one Lion Hold guard cobble walk. And I walked over there, and there was 10 Murphys and 4 cobble walks. And in Lion Hold, there was 20 just plain old Lion Hold guards. There were literally like 20 of them doing circles.
Oh, that thing where they're trying to all conflict for the same spot.
Yeah, they have the same AI or the same pathing. The immortality bug is still present. Now you don't actually gain immortality because they learn to change the code that if your health is below 0, you die. So you can't actually go below 0 anymore. But but the duplication part when you cross the server boundaries is still there. Like it's still it's not 100%, but it's still reproducible. And I think that's actually been, I saw some discussion about, again, allegedly polar people doing this with a caravan, where they were letting a caravan die at the side of a server boundary, which then gave them actually 4 times the caravan stuff or something. I don't know.
That's wacky.
But then yesterday again, so this is no, today I kept calling it a circle jerk because we were over in New Ayla, and there were 4 guards, and there was one that was stuck in the center, and 3 others that were just walking around him. It was like a big circle jerk, and they were all the same. They looked different, but they all had the same name. So again, I assume it's supposed to just be one of them, but there's 4 that got spawned somehow, and they're all trying to do the same path, and they can't. So the servers are also
earlier
still,
today. You said
that was today.
Okay, yeah. Today was a little rough for me. I popped on for a sec, thought I was gonna maybe go out and do a little gather, a little look around sort of thing, maybe kill little things along the way, and instead I find that the river south of Halcyon, where Halcyon turns to Winstead, causes system text to pop up for a moment when you're crossing the river. Like something pops up. So I sent a screenshot of it. It's in the Ashen or the Ashes bug reports Alpha 2 on Discord. If anybody's so curious that you want to look, but it definitely seemed wrong, so I filmed it, but the video was too big for Discord, so I just took a screenshot and reported it.
That was today?
Yeah, that was at like 11:30, maybe noon.
I mean, it feels like, especially because I'm coming in, you know, usually when I stop streaming, it's like 30 minutes later that they're restarting their servers. So it almost feels like this is just a problem that's building in between restarts. And I just happen to be the lucky one at the end of it every time. Because the other thing, we were watching over at New Ayla, just harvesting down by a freehold. And there's the cliffs on the backside that you can kind of jump up onto a little bit and kind of run around. And there was somebody up there cutting down trees, but the trees were like spinning on top, like a top and they were falling down and they were flying all over the place. Like I couldn't even keep up with them because they were flying so fast. And then they'd come back. There's just some like, I don't even know. There's just some really odd shit going on with their servers, and I don't know what it is. Yeah. So I saw another player. Actually, I couldn't tell if I accidentally caused them to go under the ground, because they also got in the middle of the circle jerk and were like trying to disrupt it a little bit. It does turn out you actually don't have much. Physics doesn't really work with the guards, which makes sense. You wouldn't want players to be able to block guards, but so I jumped into that little circle pit too with my horse. Next thing I know, that character was like under the ground. So I don't know if I shoved him under the ground or what. So I don't know. It's just there was another guard that kept. It's just weird. I don't know. And it's not like there's tons of people there. I mean, it's a node, so it's one of the more populated areas. But it's not a ton. So I still worry. We're still supposed to have dynamic gridding at some point.
I was wondering.
I will say I will believe if that, because I feel like whoever nails dynamic gridding needs to like do a press release, right? Because like that's like the big holy grail of MMORPG servers. So like if somebody comes out, and this is the same for Star Citizen, like if they come out and say, "Oh, we nailed it, we got dynamic gridding," but then there's like nothing, there's like no fanfare behind it, I'm gonna sit back and probably be like, "Yeah, right." You probably just changed the definition of what you think dynamic gridding is to make it match what you're looking to do. Because those servers are still rough too. Now I appreciate. I don't want to sound so negative about everything. I do appreciate how fast they're pushing out stuff. Like the last 8 months have been just nutty. How much content gets pushed out. But with it comes problems. So
yeah.
It's that landmark experience we all went through when you push an update every week or two, but you don't really take the time to fix the stuff that broke before. So
There's still some quests from phase 1 that are still broken.
Yeah,
we had
not surprising.
we had a, well, no, it was just one. There was one quest couldn't do. It was bugged. Couldn't finish it, which actually broke a quest line because then we couldn't continue on. I don't know. I just I get this feeling like things are coming out so fast. Like, what's is the goal to like be out of alpha
Before
by next year?
2026. Yeah, before 2026.
I mean, it feels like. I mean, it really does feel like is the goal to be out of alpha at the end of this year. Like, is that the goal? I mean, Steven has said they're going to have the continents done at the end of the year. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's possible.
Considering what's being pushed back for August, I don't think they're going to have things that he said we're going to be in earlier in the year in by the end of the year. Some will be, some won't. I think there's still going to be a lot coming in phase 3. I think it's the reason why they're delaying phase 3 is because there's still some features and systems they want up and running. And so right now, why not run a short test for a few months of a completely gutted economy and gutted drop rate and see how that does, and then, you know, slowly tune it here and there to try to get a more, you know, the more ideal experience to what we're looking for. So I get a feeling that this one is a lot of putting players through the ringer to get diagnostics. And meanwhile, using it as an opportunity to, you know, get more systems up and running. I mean, to make my phone stop making that sound. I hope it's not coming through much.
So,
yeah,
Phantom, you were away. How did you feel about playing? Do you think you're going to play again next weekend?
Oh yeah, I'll keep playing.
Okay, because I thought you had, besides family obligations, I thought you kind of wanted to take a little break.
No, I did. I mean, I burned out, and also it just
Yeah.
You know, you run that race too many times. It's I don't know, the gameplay itself is still kind of boring.
Yeah.
So it's more just hanging out with the people in the stream than anything. I will say interest has seemed to be higher right now. That's something I've noticed. Towards the end of phase 2, it was hard to get 10, 15 people with you. At least for me. Maybe that's just more on my personality. I don't know. But now, I mean, you know, I'm usually passing, I don't know, 40, 45 people on to somebody else when I log out. And you do get a lot more. There have been a lot more people, both on YouTube and on Twitch, coming in saying, hey, just heard about this. What's it like? Tell me about it. Whereas before, a lot of those folks were coming in being like, you know, oh, this is a scam. This is a scam. Like, you don't really get that anymore. You actually do get a fair amount of people just wanting to know about the game. It's probably a good sign. Because the size, what did they say? So that first opening with one server, what did they peaked at, like, was it 8,000 concurrent? I think Steven said
8,100, yeah.
Which was a record for them, or for Unreal, and for them.
Yeah, Unreal 5, it was the record.
Which is good. I'm not saying anything that's great. That said, when A1 opened and we had 4 servers, Resna, I think, maxed at like 6.2, 6.3 concurrent at the start. So now you've gone from 4 servers to 1, and your concurrency only went up to 8 point whatever. So that to me also says there's less people that are playing, which maybe makes sense. But so it's nice to see other people come in and asking about
I mean,
Yeah.
I could see, and I've heard from a lot of people that is their plan to just wait this one out and come back in phase 3. That they want to take a break, they want to play some other games. They're not really interested in jumping into a phase that's going to be wiped in a few months, or most likely going to be wiped in a few months.
Mhm.
Maybe they didn't even want to do the fresh start to begin with, and they actually wanted to play on Shoal, but or one of the previous servers. But now that that all got consolidated and thrown away, they have no interest right now.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of hard to say on that, but I think that's part of what's influencing is that if people know that it's going to be a whole lot more stuff just being crammed in over the next little while and a lot of changes over a short time, that they maybe don't want to deal with the whiplash from one change to the next. They're just going to sit it out for that, and then likewise, just waiting for phase 3 because there's features that they want maybe to be completed before they actually play again, like maybe more of the freehold stuff, or maybe they're waiting for the other weapon types to finally come in,
Mhm.
which I'm still excited for. I don't know what their progress is, but I'm hoping to see them.
Mhm.
this came up. It was an interesting discussion. I kind of hinted at it in chat a little bit. You know, even with 6K on Resna, you know, the world didn't feel super crowded on just Riverland. You know, you ran into people, but you should. Um, you know, 8.1 on one server still has felt not super crowded, and you have a lot more. So where I'm going at is I feel like their original goal of 10K per server is just way too low. If you got 18 biomes, like you're going to need 20-30K, I think.
Yeah, more realistically, they're
Mhm.
probably going to want 20 plus
But
per.
the interesting thing there though is like if 8K was a record for a server, like how are you're going to have to actively essentially you're going to have to actively put in ways to keep people apart because imagine an Eve scenario. You know, there's been some battles in Eve where everyone shows up in one spot to have a fight. You know, so if you have even 15,000 people trying to show up one spot to have a fight on Vera, like the servers are just gonna like shit.
Mhm.
I don't know.
We've technically got 4 biomes, so out of 18, we're still pretty damn close together compared to what launch is supposed to look like.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lulu. I mean, even 50K, like you're gonna. I mean, just imagine what happens if like half of those people end up in the same general area. Like that's. I think the joke that I was did yesterday was like stick figures. What if the engine? What if the client just then downgrades everyone to stick figures? Um,
Well, we'll just have a lot of circle jerks. It's fine.
I mean, those guys were up to something. One of them looked like Vision. Weird. So.
Yeah, dynamic gridding, but then, you know, dynamic gridding is great, but if they're going to need 3 to 4 times as much server capacity for 3 to 4 times as many people, and all the dynamic grid bonus servers it needs to spin up for all the little density spots, it's eventually going to get to a point where it's going to be kind of expensive to run all of that. So I would imagine they've got a lot of work to do still on that side too, to make everything, you know, actually be efficient enough on the server architecture, and then for it to also actually not go to crap, which it sometimes does. It's one of those things that for me is always the test. If I fight something that moves fast, specifically a Grem, because they're all over the place for whatever reason, and I attack it and like smack it with the melee, and then do 2 flourishes. The bard slides forward, and then turn around to try to do something to that Grem again. It shouldn't be like going from where I was fighting it to off all the way this way, but then able to bite me a few times before suddenly appearing here to do the second round of attacks on me. Like, that's ridiculous. And so that's a quick test for me to see, like, okay, well, how well the server's doing. Let me piss off a Grem and then dodge away from it. Oh, it's all over the place. Well, the servers are, so at best right now.
That's another thing you mentioned, the Grims, that I noticed today that just really also felt very off was the timing of sort of animations with the combat. Like there was even was there like a Raven as an example, kind of did its lineup attack, and it shoots at you, and I dodged it, and it visually missed me, but but it still hit me. Like I'm here and it's over here, and I'm still losing health, and then I do kill it, and its visual body ends up dead over here, but the loot pile ends up over here, and it just feels weird when you can't dodge correctly because the animations aren't lining up either. And I don't know how much of that's client network side, I don't know, server side.
The wacky thing with them too is you don't even need to dodge. If you just normally walk out of the way of where they were planning to hit you, you're still normally not supposed to get hit. You don't even need to do the dodge. I still do the dodge myself, but
that was all wolves. That was all of it. Wolves, Grims. I mean, it was all the same. Like the animation, I would be like clearly like not even close to the thing biting, but it's still hitting me. But then sometimes it works, so I don't know. It just that inconsistency kind of really didn't feel very good.
Yeah, it can be a bit rough with that, especially when the servers are on there like chunky needs to be reset, sort of been on for a bit status.
So.
Yeah, but that just you're saying all of that, and it's just reminding me that the plan was for this to come out before 2020, which was 5 years ago. It's more complicated. There's lots of complications. It's complex.
If there is a way they could have continued working in Unreal 4, it might be closer to coming out, but I don't know.
So, anyways.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
I ain't got much more to say today. I started playing Oblivion. That might have been a mistake. So I've never played it, actually, the original. So the remake has... I guess you ask if I'm going to stream Ashes next weekend. I don't know. We'll see.
You might be streaming Oblivion?
I mean, it's possible. So.
Not, what's the other game that you were wanting? Is it
Lightning
Path of Exile? No. We haven't even heard anything about that, I don't think. No. Pantheon?
Oh, Pantheon. Yeah, I don't know. Good luck to that.
Okey-dokey.
I mean, full loot drop. That's the crazy thing. Complain so much about all of the penalties for dying in Ashes at creation. You die in Pantheon, you drop literally everything.
That's old school, isn't it?
It is, and it's annoying as hell.
It's rough.
Yeah. I had it's reminding me of when I was playing with my girlfriend back in the day. I finally got her to play with me, and I took her over to a location and kind of had her set like, okay, just stay here, keep your back to this wall, and just grind here for a little bit, and I'm gonna run over here and do some stuff. And I hear her calling me, oh, I died, come get me. So I'm like racing to come. When I get to her, she says, Oh, never mind. Some guy was nice enough to say he would loot my corpse and give it back to me. And I was like, what? Who? And she was like, oh, it's just some nice person came by and said, oh, they'd loot my corpse for me. And I was like, but who? She's like, I don't know. And I was like, you don't do that because they might keep, oh, nobody would be that mean.
That's great.
Okay. I think they did give her back her stuff, but it was freaking me out because I was like, no, don't.
That's
Just
awesome. That's awesome. Well, anything else to go on tonight?
back in the day. Nope.
I'm starting to fade too. I'm getting out here.
Yeah.
All right then. It'll be interesting to see how much of Artisans the apprentice stuff will be coming up online in the next week, and whether people will be able to start getting some decent gear going, or if it's still going to be a bit of a wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and catch you, Phantom, if you're
I'm
playing
only level
Saturday.
9, so you got time to catch up.
Yep. I will take a look.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
I messaged Vladis. Yeah, like, hey, he's been, I think, having a rough time. It's like, if you ever want to play and off hours, just let me know. I'll get up and hang out with you. And he's like, oh, I'm only 10. It's like, oh, dude, I'm only a 9. So
Yeah.
it's all good. We're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll see what comes. I don't know. We'll also see, I guess, what happens with the rest of the bands, how many there are, and people suddenly disappear.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't know why people do beat hacks. It's the easiest thing to catch. I guess it's a math problem, right? Like, how much can I make RMT for if I $100 account, and I know I'm going to get caught in 7 days, and I make over $100 to, risk that? And I guess the answer is yes. So. But, all right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Yeah, just jump into Ashes. I am Phantom X there. I only play on the weekends though. So, and Neuro, what's your name over there? Are you Neuro or
Neurotoxin?
Yeah, you got your name. Diggs doesn't play. Diggs too busy with Fortnite.
Played.
Fortnite, so.
I have played. I've played with you. I've played with Neuro.
Got to like live.
You said that you weren't going to play, so I haven't been looking. And then I noticed in the wee hours of the morning that you actually did play.
All right, Lulu. Yeah, you come on. Well,
yeah.
You run more American time, don't you? Is that right? Yeah, Dig's screen it is frozen. And,
exactly.
The Phoenix wings behind you also make that very nice. So. But anyways, yeah, y'all have. There's anyone to raid. You keep talking. I'm gonna see if there's anyone to.
Yeah, no, I'm usually ending my run when I notice you're coming on. So.
All right. Well, we're just gonna hang it out for the night. So, we will see you all next time. I ain't got much more to say.
All right.
Later,
everybody.
See you.